right, welcome to this episode of Rich Lessons. This is actually a really special episode for us because when Savitra and I decided to do this podcast, we definitely looked around like what's it going to look like, who we're going to work with, and Savitra ended up getting introduced to this amazing team, and we've now been shooting with them. So every episode, minus the ones that you've seen us shoot from clearly like our house, so it's virtual, has been in the studio. And the studio belongs to an amazing couple who started this podcast studio together. They're called JourneyWell. But we're going to get to know them not just as the JourneyWell team. We're going to get to know them as individuals, but more so as a beautiful married couple who are in business. So they're welcoming us taken to the studio. We are welcoming them to the couch of Rich Lessons. So welcome.
Thanks.
Yes,
Thanks for
so
having
happy
us.
to have Tim and Mel here. They are the brains behind this entire operation of Rich Lessons podcast. I have so many notes here, but I'm just like, I feel like I need for you all to tell us the story, and we're going to get into it all. So we need the story behind, because they are a husband-wife duo, and it's not always easy working in business with your significant other and spouse, and many do it well, and they do it well, and so they're going to give you some tips on how to do that. But we also want to know, how did you come to create this amazing company, JourneyWell, and what you have been offering to creators like ourselves is beyond amazing. But I don't even feel like we know all the ins and outs of the big plans that you have. So who wants to give us like the backstory, and starting with JourneyWell?
I'll let Tim give the backstory. Okay, so normally when people ask us this, I always give Tim the first hand because he started the company. And then when we got together, it just became this beautiful thing that it is now. So we'll start and I'll pepper in.
Yeah. I mean, all started with, I was born and raised in church. So my parents are pastors. I'm also a musician, so I play bass. So I've always been around the church scene. And honestly, it didn't start how I thought it would typically. I just would be in churches, going around churches, and would see certain churches that struggled with their marketing, like different things that I felt like could be communicated better. And that was like an odd starting point, but it just became a desire and a passion point. I was like, man, I just want to help make these, the message be communicated a little bit better, because I would see it done well on one side. I was like, man, we could communicate this better. And so I started to get into graphic design, and then it moved into photography. And I realized, I was like, man, I think the business world, the marketplace could use the communication. It could use the graphics. It could use all of those things that I thought were really small things in the beginning. But I realized packaging them and helping businesses communicate what they want to their audience is a big piece to business. And so that's what it started. I would do certain videos for my friends that had businesses, or they were artists in my dad's church. I would break it down and move the pews out the way and set up, and then we would put it back together. And always dreamed of, like, man, it would be great to have a place to do this myself. My dad was always super critical. He's like, put my pews back where I put them before, and all those little things. And so small beginnings, and it's funny to look at now, but it was just very small, very like simple thoughts of, man, I would love to help out in this area. I'd love to add value to somebody here, and realize just, one building block on the other would move us into a bigger position to be able to help businesses throughout their, their journey.
Yeah, it definitely, when I first met him, I was helping him like move things around in his dad's church and helping him with like setups and sets and stuff like that. And then kind of when we got engaged, we were like, we want to offer our clientele a space. Like, we're already helping them with all the things that they need, but housing a space where it's just ours, where we have our lighting, we have our equipment, we have the space to elevate not just their content and material, but give them a place to just come and say, hey, we've got a space for you. This is where you can do this at, is what we wanted. And Tim went around searching for places, right? Tell that story. That story is really cool.
Yeah. again, I was praying in my room for months about a space. I was like, Lord, I would love, and this is just like one of those prayers. It's like you're just praying it. You're not actually thinking something's going to happen, but it's just one of those like, you know, when you have a dream, you should pray to the Lord, and so I was just following that. And one moment in prayer, the Lord was like, I just really felt impressed in my heart. He was like, what place do you want me to give you? Like, where is it? As if I were to name it or say it or to bring some details, he would give it.
Like, quit praying about it, make the steps to go find it,
Yeah.
right?
And so I was like, wow, I think I need to actually look for certain things. So one of my clients was a realtor, and so one thing just led to another. Found the space. It was bigger. It felt like a mountain that I was embarking upon, trying to move. But we were dating at the time, which is crazy. When we got the place, weren't even married yet, but we were just dating. Well, we were engaged when we got the place, and so I called her. I was like, "Hey, look at the building," and she was like, she actually was like, "Hey, do you think this place is big enough for you?" I was like, "Yikes!" I realized I was with somebody, I had connected with someone who could not only dream with me, but had a bigger capacity, a larger capacity than I had. So, which was really special because I was like, girl, this place it's going to be, if it's not big enough, we're going to make it work. And so it's just great. I mean, a lot of the things that got us to this place is just, the main thing is the Lord, just trusting Him and not allowing resources or the lack of resources to stifle or to dwindle the vision, but allowing the vision to lead the resources. And that's just the mindset that we kind of take through everything we do. Not to, if we don't have it, we figure out what we need to start it. Like, what would we need to make this happen?
To get there, it's not a hindrance. It's vision doesn't follow. What do you say?
Yeah. Money follows vision. Vision doesn't follow money. And so you just let your vision proceed. And also we believe the Lord has given us this vision. It's not just random things. We're actually helping. The goal is to help communities grow. The goal is to help businesses make a actual economic impact. But one step at a time. So yeah.
And clearly you guys are doing it. What comes to mind hearing you both speak is faith without works is dead,
Yes.
And so you have to believe it and you have to pray for it.
Absolutely.
And ask for it, but you also have to get up and go out and get it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that is what it reminds me of. And I love that for y'all. And for us too. And everyone here.
Absolutely.
Like, we love that for us. We love
Yes.
that for us. We
Yes.
appreciate it. I think the thing overall that stood out to me was actually what you said, but it was the fact that faith. It was like, I believe that. So that stood out. The second thing was that you actually said it. You said, I met someone or I married someone
Absolutely.
whose vision was just as big as mine,
Or
if not bigger
Absolutely, yeah.
than mine.
Which was really
so I'm gonna go to your personal life. So the fact that you two are in business as a married couple together, we both keep hitting our phones because clearly everybody wants to call us today as we're shooting podcasts. When you two first met, and I'm sure it's like, so give me your name. The honeymoon. Like, I don't call it the honeymoon stage. But it's like when you're like asking a million questions.
Dating.
I guess dating, courting. What's your favorite
There's
color?
a honeymoon phase to
It's
dating.
a honeymoon
There
phase.
is.
Before that, it's like what's your favorite color? What's your middle
Sure.
name? Like, what's your favorite food? Did you were meeting someone who was going to drive your vision as much as your beautiful wife?
Yeah, no, I didn't know. It was honestly, how we met was very, I don't know, not a coincidence, but it just didn't felt like it was intentional. It's just it was
It was
during the
super casual.
Yeah, casual is the word. It was during the pandemic. Two of my best friends are producers, so we had that a music studio, and I had a office that I started a lot of the stuff I was doing here. So we were always together. We probably shouldn't have been together during the COVID pandemic, but we were always just in the studio. And one of my best friends brought Mel. She was friends with Mel. And so I was just on the couch. My friends would always be producing on the
Music.
on one side, and I would be on the couch just on my laptop editing or doing something. And then so she would start coming, and then it would be night after night. And so
It just started on a friendship. Like, I entered into the music studio. Again, the whole world shut down. So it was just like 5 of us in a music studio weekly. And we just built this bond of friendship at first. We didn't like meet and look at each other and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Like it wasn't like an initial.
Natural.
Yeah, it was like we really truly became
Yeah.
friends first, and sometime in the summer, he just asked me out.
Yeah.
We tell the story very differently, but
Yeah. I've learned to let her tell the story.
Yes.
Happy wife, happy life. I like it.
I always tell my husband that too. Remember that.
Yeah, but it was friendships. We would have, game nights and stuff like that. And then
just hanging out.
learning after we asked questions. We played these card games, which I thought was very lame, but it was actually pretty fun. And we played card games. And as I would hear her answer certain questions, I would realize that our
It's like the Red Table Talk game. It asks you straight up deep
Yes.
questions about like different phases of just yourself.
Yeah.
It just helps people connect.
Yeah. But the thing was, when I would be setting up, and it was very simple, like for shoot, she would automatically just like help out. She would automatically see something that needed to be filled and filled it without me asking, and also like raised it to another level, like elevated the vision of it, elevated the visuals. And so seeing that was something that I just love, because as you're a business person, there's always something that needs to be done. And when you see somebody that can help, and then also if you're able to, there's a romantic connection, it allows you to possibly consider, man, this could really work out, because you want to build with somebody who wants to build, who's able to hold and be under the pressure. And so that was one thing that really stood out to me as a guy building a business, and my girl was just right there the whole time. So
Yes. Now, I aspire to build something with my husband, which I'm really nervous about. I don't know what that's going to be in the future. What advice would you give someone like me, building with your spouse, and those who may be considering it, or those who may be having a hard time working with their spouse, or those who are just looking for tips? What would you say are some of the ups, or something like, okay, we got to work through some things?
I would say the biggest thing, which is the hardest pill to swallow, and if you can swallow this one, everything works out, is humility. Because I say this, I'm learning this, I feel like CEOs can be the greatest and the worst thing to the company.
Yeah.
They have what it takes to start the company, and they feel like because it's like their baby, they have to see it all the way through, and every piece to its success is going to come from them. But allowing yourself to step back and say, hey, I do have a way that I think is right, but we're a partner, and I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to give you room to speak. I'm going to give you room to put your ideas out there, and it's going to have as much weight as I have. And then we're going to come together and encourage conversation, encourage collaboration. But it takes humility to drive all that, because the hardest thing to not do is try to shut the idea down and be like, no, we're just going to go this way because, I know this, or because of whatever history you have. So if you can do that, then the rest is like,
I think of two things, just on a broader sense. Of course, there's a two-layer situation here. There's the relationship, the romantic relationship, and then there's the business relationship. As a marriage, we're working together to build our marriage, to build our relationship. But we have to also understand each other. So understanding each other first, and then also understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses and giftings, I think is super important. I know that Tim is greater at things that I'm not so great at. We're both leaders. We're both, sometimes we crash a lot, but I think there's beauty in that. Something that I learned was that I dream and I focus on something real hard. So like if I give my all to something, I'm giving my all to something. And the same thing with Tim. If he sees something, he wants to go ahead and follow through with it. And sometimes we're both running like this. But what we're learning is both of the focuses matter, and they both matter at the same time. So with that being said, how do we marry those two together and cheer each other on and push the ball forward together? So figuring out what the goal is, what the mission is at the time, and making sure we're checking in on each other, because there is that layer of relationship there. So something that I may think is pressing business-wise is pressing, but it'll be there tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so something that we're learning is I got to snap out of it and be like, okay, how you doing? How are you right now in this moment? What do you need from me? How can I support you in this moment? And bending to that. And I think that's where humility comes in, but also understanding where you're at, what the need is, and then where your spouse is at is very important to like juggle all those at the same time. And then hearing each other.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is where I'm at. I need this from you right now. Communication is so key in marriage, but also in business, you know? Being a good communicator is so key on all those layers.
The
So,
last thing I'll say is leading, not just leading the business, but leading the actual team, so your partner. And that comes, what that means is to like actually think about their strengths and position them to win
yeah.
based on their strengths. With Mel, I have the tendency to position her where there's a need and not necessarily where she has a strength. And so just because there's a need doesn't mean that, oh, she's my helper, so I'm gonna push her there, because that's my
Yes.
mindset. Like,
Yeah.
babe, I need you here, let's work. But that may not actually be where she needs to be. Let's position her to win, and then let's see what the hole is and how we can fill it. Maybe I need to fill it. Maybe that's another position we need to hire out. But yeah, she had a part-time job before, and when she came onto the company full-time, I was like, bro, I'm gonna have her doing all the stuff,
Filling all the gaps.
all the stuff I was struggling with. And right before she transitioned, something clicked. And I was like, bro, you about to mess up, because
Yes.
that's not necessarily, admin is not necessarily her thing. And so just learning and listening.
What is my thing though?
She's a visionary. That's the
Yes.
crazy thing. So I'm a visionary, and as a visionary, in my head, I'm the only visionary. Like, I'm the visionary of the company. But what if God gives you two, you know? And so as a husband, I have to sit back and listen and say, hey, look, there's some things that the company would need that may just only come from her, and it may soar the company. How would you feel if the greatest idea wasn't from you? It's like, you want to make the money, or you want to have all the praise. And so that's something that I have to realize. Like, hey, she's a visionary. She does have a lot of other things, but one of her biggest things, she can see and she can do a lot of the things that I can do. I'm a little bit more technical, but she has a lot of vision, and so giving her space to do that is good.
For me, it's definitely learning. Yes, I do have a lot of vision, a lot of ideas, but learning when to yield. And sometimes that comes with like a negative connotation, yielding or submitting, for a lack of better terms. But it really is that humility to open up. Like, I think that a true leader never stops learning and never stops listening. And so I take that in and be like, he is the leader of my house. He is the leader of this company. I'm also leading with him, but I can learn to hold my leading want and say, okay, what do you think is important right now? Again, pushing the ball down the field. Because if we're going to clash, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Absolutely. I love that. I think about how, and my pastor said this too, who finds a wife finds a good thing, and how when you find the right person, they help multiply you if it's done right. And so I feel just that around when I come in here and I see you two, that I'm walking into a space where it has been curated from people who have a big vision, right? And I like that, and would love to. So tell us a little bit more about JourneyWell and what you offer to creators, to your clients. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you start.
Me?
Yeah, you start.
Me?
Oh, we'll come in.
No, I like when you list those services. I like chiming in on your stuff.
Okay. Well, our goal is to empower businesses through content that connects them to their audience and also converts. And so we do that through a lot of different things. One of the things that we're doing right now is podcasting. So allowing people who have a dream to start a podcast or already has started one and they want to take it to the next level, have a full service team created from start to finish. And so I think that's one of the things that we set out to do, is to create a space where people can come in and get it all done. And with the actual studio space that has different areas to set up, to different rooms where people can prepare before they get ready for a shoot. That's something that we feel like is really cool and necessary, because people that are like you guys, that are busy, that have already started something, and just need to give that responsibility to somebody else. We wanted to create an opportunity for someone to be able to do that. And we're also, there's a lot of different, we're not the people to, our goal is to create a high quality service is our goal. not just something that just thrown together. And so we strive to just create a space where it can all happen. We also do short form content, which is a big thing that we've seen a lot of people take use of, is when people come in and have a conversation and then we chop that up for social media. It's kind of like batch recording. So you spend an hour recording and then it gets chopped up to maybe 10, 15, or 20 reels. And so realtors love those. Business owners that need to explain their business and how they, answer the pain point of their audience's problems. It's really easy for them to just go and talk for an hour. Don't worry about, talking perfectly. We'll just chop it up.
Honestly, we're a content house, so we do it all. Like any digital or marketing solution that a business, an individual, or creative may need, that's what we're here for. We got the space again, yes, for our own clients, but we created this space for other creatives to come in and create. There's so much talent in Louisiana. Like, I know 1,000 photographers, videographers, makeup artists, like all kinds of people with talent and a lot of freelancers. And so we wanted to be a house and a space and a place where people can come in and utilize it for their need. So something that's really big in this industry, there's a lot of people that are super competitive, real tight-fisted. We're not like that. We believe that there's space for everyone. We believe that if we have this gift and we have this talent, we move in excellence, we move with vision, and we move with purpose. So there's always going to be bread at the table.
Yes.
So for us, it's meeting with the right people and helping businesses fulfill their vision and push them forward. So we make you look good, so you don't have to think about you looking good. You just come in and push out what you need to push out, and we take care of the rest. So everything from videography to photography to having the space, studio rentals, branding, like it really is tailored to the need of the individual and the business. Like whatever your need is, how can I fulfill that? How can I help you get that? And we can do that. So that's basically what JourneyWell does, is help you journey well.
I was going to ask where the name come from.
It was one of those things that just dropped, that just like hit, and you're like, man, that could just
Journey
work.
well.
Very big with being like timeless. And I feel like it's like a house name.
Yeah, we're not a trend. The goal is not to be trendy. It's like we want to last for a while.
Yeah.
So when it dropped, it was like, man. Also, we have dreams to build outside of just a creative studio, creative agency. And so we've talked about JourneyWell being an umbrella company one day, and other companies being under it, because it can kind of house different things.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
Yeah.
Something you said about, you want to foster community around creators and that there's room for everyone. And I actually was introduced to you all through another videographer that I've worked with in the past, Ivan. And Ivan was like, I shouldn't be trying to talk about, give up work, but I'm going to be real with you. I could do it, but there's somebody better out here that does this better than I do it.
I love that.
And so to recognize that and to say, no, there's somebody else that can do it better. And I'm going to introduce you to that person. And so I just love working with people that are just like real about that. And I was like, no, this team is a team that you need for what your vision is and what you're trying to do. They're going to make that come to life.
Love that.
And I told Sheena, I was like, because I reached out to like different people for different proposals.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know when we dropped our podcast, people were kind of giving me the side eye, like, what? You didn't come to us. You didn't come to us. So this episode is going to clear the air of why this is the best team to do our podcast.
No, we really appreciate that. To echo what she said, we definitely, we want to create a space where our competitors, people that are doing the same thing, or just people that are in the industry, can come and we can all grow together.
For sure.
And also a space where they can create. That's the other side of the studio rental, where people that do the same thing can come in and just utilize the space.
Yeah.
I feel like your answer is going to be no, because you seem to definitely walk and let faith guide you. Did you ever have a second thought that I know I want to do this? Because you was very clear, I know I want to do this. But did you ever question the faith of, or question, should it be in Louisiana? Because, of course, you think creative. You think of, like, you're Houston, you're Dallas. Even if you want to stay in the South, you'll think Houston, Dallas, Miami, Atlanta. whereas you chose Louisiana. Was there ever a doubt that
Hey, not too hard on Louisiana.
To be honest, right. It's where we are right now. I definitely think it's a starting point, and we've talked about this before. I don't think that JourneyWell or we, Tim and Mel, are confined. Not it rhyming. We're not confined to a place or a space. We do work in other states as well, and so I think there's just room for expansion. I don't think it limits us. I don't think the state limits us. I think it's a starting point for sure.
But to be honest, that mindset didn't come because, now we've done a little bit and we've progressed. But at the beginning and before this was happening, or even when we got in the studio, it was just like, can we even do this?
Right.
It wasn't like, can we bring this to another, state? It was like, can we do this? You know? So that confidence has come, and we still have insecurities in different areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I love that question. But the reality is, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, bro, I hope I can even just,
make this like the blueprint, and then it's like, okay, we did it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually glad you did it though, because I just feel like a lot of people, they don't take that first step of like, at least let me see how it works.
Right.
It'll work. Let me get my feet wet.
Just that
it's like
fear of failure.
Just like jump out there and do.
Absolutely.
So I think you've done an amazing job.
so
You
much.
should have done an amazing job.
Yeah,
Thanks so
and like the turnkey nature of it, there's really nothing like it, here in Louisiana in general. And so I'm like, y'all could do one in Baton Rouge, y'all could do another studio in New Orleans. I just think of it like an opportunity to like expand it. And so whereas you are here in Baton Rouge, then you might have a JourneyWell studio in Texas or wherever, and then just have like that turnkey system. Because all my friends who do podcasts, it's not like this turnkey.
Yeah.
And that was like the hardest thing for us, trying to find. It was like, we had to figure out to rent a space, and then we got to set the setup, do this, do that. And so to be able to like walk in and do like a turnkey batch of episodes, and to, pop in, right? If we wanted to do like one episode, all of that flexibility that you give to creators and those like us who are trying to really build a platform, you just make it so much easier for us to do and to actually go through with what our plans are, right? Because sometimes creators, once you start pulling everything together, it can make you fearful and not actually do it. You're like, this is so much work.
Just to get to the beginning,
just to get to the sofa.
Absolutely. No, for real.
Yeah. We've been there. We have been there.
Yes, it's so much work.
The whole time is, if with each service, our goal is, can we scale this? That's the goal. So it's small right now, but our goal, she's from Manhattan, so we go to New York often, and we talk about starting a studio there just to have a reason to go more.
Yes.
But the goal is to, have studios all over the country, and it's populate in areas where it makes sense.
Even go international.
Yeah.
We've entertained that idea.
Yeah. But
Lisbon, I can see that, like a nice little spot.
We'd
in
love
Lisbon.
to. The scaling has always been our thought. It's like, can the scale? Is this something that could just, with more manpower, with more, people, can we just make this go?
Little refinement to copy and paste.
Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that, because that's
I could definitely see it, because people begin to trust the brand, and so. Say we were out in Miami or somewhere, or in LA somewhere, and we're like, oh, we're looking for like a JourneyWell studio, right? And so it becomes like the brand that you look for, that that, oh, if I stepped into that space, it's going to be like a high quality experience. So I like that. And I'm happy that, sometimes my brother always says this. I'm always like, oh man, you could be doing this, and this with your dreams, but you guys are already thinking like that. So it's so, I can see it. So it's so good to see that you are already thinking like what that type of.
You got to make
future
sure
could
that
look
when you guys get like your third studio, we like play this episode back.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's
you
true.
remember when we was talking about this?
Love to do that. And I think
do
that's
that
something
stuff.
creators should always do, and other people, just like continue to dream big. And also continue to look at other people, and not always also have competitors and be like, yeah, we're in the same and we're trying to get better, but like learn from them. Like, I love to look at other people's stuff. I try to get, as much information as I can about what other people are doing, just to know how it, stands up against what I'm doing. And is my thought process okay? Is the pricing, is it okay? Is it, so just having that mindset of just looking at what other people are doing, continuing to grow big, and just not stopping. That's what feeds us.
What advice would you give creators, right, who are looking to start a podcast, looking to, even get their social media channels going? I feel like there is so much like fear, right, in that for so many people. Like they want to do it, but there's a little bit of fear there, a little bit anxiety. Like, how do people break through that? What is some advice for creators?
Just do it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Pull the
don't be
Band-Aid.
afraid. Do it afraid. Like, just do it afraid and just do it. Like, get some people that you might know that. Okay, so for us, we're always producing things for other people. It can become taxing to produce for ourselves, like market ourselves, get our socials up, like get our own photo shoots in. So we literally pull in other creators and we're like, hey, book it on the calendar. I need you to record us. We need to batch record this, this, and this. This is what we need to put out. We know what we need to put out. So 9 times out of 10, you know what you need. You know what your brand needs. You know what your company needs. You know where your gaps are. Get someone that's going to help you. Just get it out of your hands. Because if it stays in your hands, it might stay in your hands and not get anywhere. Right. You need people to come alongside of you and be like, all right, let's do it, kind of thing. So I would say, like, number 1, take the leap of faith. Number 2, get some people who you know can help you make it happen and let it roll. And if you need someone else to be the one to push post, let them do it. Right. And then you'll see the generation happen.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the 80-20 rule. Like 20% of what you do is going to actually be effective or like pull everything else. And with the content, it's like 10 to 20% of the content you make, you're going to really like. 80%, 90%, you're not going to like. So just start doing stuff because no one likes everything they do.
Right.
But you just got to keep doing it. And also realize the bar is really low. The bar is
for sure,
really low. Like,
it's lower than what you think it is.
Way lower than you think. So if you're actually like a perfectionist and you're like, oh, it has to be this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come out shooting and it's going to be a lot better. Because there's so many people putting content out there and they're just doing it on their iPhones. They're just doing it just to do it. But not everyone is doing it at a high quality. And it takes time, it takes refining. And also, I love models and templates. Take somebody that is doing it well in the area that you're trying to do it and look at them. And as you make your videos, as you make your content, mimic them. Yeah. I'm a big person about copying. Like, take the system, don't copy it verbatim, but take it, learn it, and say, hey, look, this is going to be our starting point. At some point, we'll deviate and make our own, but take something that's already working.
Yeah, good example. Yeah.
Some people may not like that, but if you got nowhere to start, do it and figure out your way. I love what you said about the 80-20 because what people don't realize, sometimes you start and you're like, oh, this is not generating views. This is not moving. This is not going viral. Literally, if you go on YouTube and you look at some of the biggest people on it, you go to their earlier things, like they didn't have that many views and their stuff didn't even look good.
Absolutely.
But
it was on a whole
going.
different topic.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it keeps refining as you go. So something that I always tell people when they come and sit in here, they're always like, we have screens and stuff, so we allow people to like look at themselves and like adjust and all of that. Number 1, you're your hardest critic. So like you're gonna be like, no, this looks horrible. I look horrible. I sound horrible. Like you're gonna be your worst critic. 2, if you don't like the first one, the next time what I always say is look back at what you've produced. Review it, and then see things that you want to adjust or do differently the next time. Then the next time, work on that one thing. Then the next time, work on the other thing. And you slowly begin to like mold yourself into the creator that you want to be. And you build your platform in that way. You build your brand in that way. And you're doing it yourself. But you take it like one step at a time. It's not all about like taking one step and then you're taking a giant step and you've already made it. No, you got to be okay with the long game. You got to be okay with little steps, refining and creating and making it great, making it into what you want it to be, because you're forming your brand, you're forming your voice, you're forming brand voice. Okay, brand voice and identity is my thing, because I'm all about building brands, building a brand voice, and building your brand identity. It's so like unique to the person. Yeah. People don't just care about what you can do for them. People care about who you are. So if people 9 times out of 10 latch onto who you are and not just what you're selling, there's 1,000 studios. People are going to come to JourneyWell for us, not just for the quality, not just for the space. Like, you want to work with us. And that's why, like, okay, I'm going to go into a whole nother topic here, but I'll stop there.
No, give us the brand and marketing gems. I'm here for it. Oh, for real. And so I think about, I keep saying creator, but almost everyone in turn is turning into a creator, because you mentioned a real estate client, attorney. There's so many different forms of people who may not consider themselves the traditional creator.
The content is being put out there.
Yeah, the
absolutely.
content matters now more than anything to get in front of the audience, whatever your intended audience is, right?
Yeah.
And so I always put that in perspective, because some people are like, oh, creator, I'm not a creator. Like, you probably, you may not be creating the way you could be, but like you said,
Absolutely.
It's the age that we're in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people are
It's the
making
age that we're in.
decisions to work with you or not because of what they see online.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
We talk all the time. Like, it used to be that you would tell someone like, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Sheena," and they would like even like Google you or go to your website. Now the first thing's like, let me go to your Instagram, let me go to your TikTok. So it's very different from the days of like, let me Google this person. People still clearly Google you, but your socials matter, pro and con. So side story, I actually missed someone one time to like do my hair. And she clearly saw that I had a lot of followers on Instagram, and I know she overcharged me just because it was like
Ugh, boo.
she got a lot of
you're
followers.
Oh.
So I know, like,
Yeah.
gotta get this. But your point is right. Your followers do count. Your Instagram, your content, the quality of your content. People can judge you on the quality of your content.
They do. It's
I
good.
will say for us, I remember. So I will say it was on me. Season 1, I was like, yeah, let's do like the first 2 episodes in studio. It's on me.
I'm not saying anything.
I was like, let's do like the first episode 2, maybe 3 in studio, and then like season 1, we're just gonna like do a virtual. Like, everybody does virtual podcasts. Like, let's do a virtual. Stevie was like, Sheena.
I was like, it ain't gonna look as good.
It ain't gonna.
I said, we can get the best cameras. There's still something about that in studio that hit different.
And I was like, it's season 1. It's not that big of a deal. I think we were like 3 episodes from the virtual side in. And I remember like we had like our chats just because of grits.
Sure.
And I was like,
That was funny.
I think we should go back in studio. And
Right,
she was like, now you want
we
to
need to go back in studio.
Yeah, no, I do. I respect. And I think having a virtual setup is a great thought process.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit more intentionality on the back end and technical side to make it work. But for people like you guys that are moving all the time, it's a great
Option.
But
option.
this has actually worked well for us. Like, I know I'm extremely busy. I know she's extremely busy. But the way that we are able to find time for 1 week or a day or 2 that we can get together, like if it's maybe yesterday, it's like, let's talk about what we're going to confirm what we're doing tomorrow. And today we spend the day here. Yeah. I think we have found that it has worked for us. Even with our crazy schedules, we have found that it worked. And I personally can now say I prefer the in-studio.
But I am looking forward to this JourneyWell in a box kit that y'all gonna sell, so we can just pop it up at our house, so that when we want to just hop on and do something quick, right?
Yeah, no,
so,
it's possible.
So when y'all start rolling out the JourneyWell in the box,
I love that.
I'm gonna have the pop-up studio at the house
We
too.
just had a client where we went in their home and we built
Did
a
it
custom
in-studio.
studio.
Yeah,
for
like,
her.
so I see that as like the future, as like this mix of different content. But I feel like people that do it best have had professionals set them up properly, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
So you
That's
gotta
a
come
great
to my
thought.
place, then you gotta go to Savicha's place. So therefore, if she's in my place or if I'm in her place, it's like, okay, we gotta
figure it
run
out.
down to the box and do like a.
But as far as like tech and like where things are moving, I really do think that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be this, and we're going to have to adapt. But people are going to find a way. Either it's going to be AI creating it all the like from start to finish, or you're going to have something very easy to set up to make really good lighting and audio and stuff like that. So that's a really great.
I think
thought.
that's a mixture, though. I think like what you two have created, there's going to be there's going to be people who are always going to want to come
right.
in studio and they want to have this experience. We talk about experience. They're going to have this experience. And then there's going to be people who's going to set it up at home. It will be more AI driven, but as someone who's deep into tech, I always say AI doesn't take your job. AI takes the job of maybe like that technical piece, but the person who's having to tell the AI what to do or having to put the data in or know what to put in, they're going to always have a job. So because the creative pieces, you're still having to set the box up in the house, or you're having to do the editing on the back end, or it's like the senior developer who is working alongside the AI that's coding.
Yeah.
You're forever like
And
AI can't take your job.
But
we can work together.
I do look forward to also JourneyWell.ai comes through.
Absolutely.
JourneyWell gonna cover all the spaces. So whatever angle you're looking for, they're gonna have you covered.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's next? What's next for you all? So it's as we wrap up,
Yes,
what's next for you?
Oh,
all?
and I would love to know your rich lesson. Can we get that?
I was waiting for that
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Okay, so first we're gonna ask
I wrote
what's
it down.
next, and then the second one
Yes.
to end it, you two have to give us a rich lesson.
Okay,
so
cool. That'd be cool.
what's next is first.
Expansion.
Yeah, expansion, possibly a bigger studio with more parking space. We'd
Yeah.
love to be able to do high quality events, like but upscale like techie events. Like I want an LED wall in here. I
Like,
want it like
Bigger
Stuff that you don't see in
psych
Louisiana.
wall,
That would be the
LED
goal.
walls,
I like
projections,
where we're going here.
events. Yeah, we've already done a few networking events, and so we love that space. Like, again, creating that community, but then also for the individual businesses. Honestly, every business needs what we do, helping them, all of what we said earlier, but creating a space that is bigger, our own, where we can do everything we want to do in the space, and doing those kinds of events.
And then having like
conventions
other
and stuff.
people, like maybe a coffee shop by us or something, where we create community around it. So it's not just
Yeah.
like I'm coming to you and I'm leaving, but there's people around it. There's always stuff generating, and then there's some other stuff that we're working on. We won't release too soon, but some quick content options where you just need to stop in and get stuff, and it's all automated. Those are things that we want to move into. Kind of like when you walk in a gas station now, and you can just put your stuff at the cash register, and there's nobody there. Just exploring different content options like that. where
Not too
people can
much.
just-
Not too much.
Yeah, move into it.
Yeah, I love it.
that.
Hey,
I
take
love
me to the
that.
future.
But yeah, the rich lesson.
Rich
So,
lesson. What is a rich lesson?
I would
Yes.
say a rich lesson is building on a rich foundation. I think that when you build, it should come from who you are. It's not what you do, but it's an extension of who you are. So I would say if you're building on purpose, you're building with excellence, you're building with integrity. You're not just building random things. You're not just building anything. You're building legacy. So for us, we're looking towards the future and looking beyond us. It's not just JourneyWell Studios. It's not Tim and Mel. It's an extension. It's a fruit of our lives. It's a fruit of what we're called to and what we do and what we want to see beyond us being here. It's what we leave behind. There's a scripture that says, unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. And so I think having the Lord in the middle of everything that we do gives us purpose, and it's blessed. And so I want to move in blessing, and I want to move with greater vision. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than this studio. JourneyWell is much bigger, and it belongs to him. And our foundation is just that. I think the rich lesson is having a rich foundation. It's what we build from, who we are, and an extension of what we are and what we do.
And with all the creativity we have, we are at the end, we are a creation and we have a creator. And that's the reason why we should found it all on him, because we didn't create ourselves. And the vision that we're having is on purpose, is a reason why we're being led, and we have these talents, we have these skills. And so keeping that at the core and realizing, man, I have a lot and I can do a lot, but we wouldn't be in this place without the Lord. There's many times when we talk and we're like, bro, just keeping the lights on, keeping the, getting the rent paid. And so we realized the Lord is upholding us. And so we just felt that and just have seen his hand in this whole mix.
I think human efforts are finite. I think I think human efforts, there's limits to human efforts, to human vision. And I think that this vision supersedes us, and it's greater than us. So I think leaning into that and having God's involvement in everything that we do and God's blessing, that's how we want to move. And I think that's a solid foundation. If this studio shuts down, JourneyWell doesn't, you know? So I think that's what we got.
Thank you so much. This has been excellent. I already have so many. Man, I could keep going. But we want to thank you both for joining us, for coming on over
To the couch. We appreciate it. As we end it out every time.
Yes, a pound.
Bam.
Thanks, everyone. Perfect. That was